Welcome to the Optimal Bio podcast. At Optimal Bio, we don't just balance your hormones, we balance your whole body. Our conversations range from nutrition to medicine with an emphasis on wellness tips to support your health journey. If you like what you hear, find us on the web at optimalbio.com and follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Thank you for joining another episode of the Optimal Bio podcast. Today, I'm so excited to be with Robert Simmons, who is the owner of Results Fitness in Columbia, South Carolina, and one of my friends. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on here. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. So I guess we can kind of just give a little intro of who you are and what is Results Fitness.
All right. So I am Robert Simmons. I graduated from the University of South Carolina. I started personal training in college and didn't really know where it could lead. And then I was originally going to PT school, but then I got into training and just realized I could do it right out of school and not have to go back to school. And so then I've been training now for 11 years.
That's crazy.
I know.
Means we're getting older.
Yeah, a lot. So that means I've owned my own business for right around 3 years, a little over.
How's it been owning your own business?
It's been great. Ups and downs. It's fun. Then it's stressful because now you're responsible for other people. But I think that's the fun part and the stressful part. Like, they count on me to make sure they get paid, but I count on them to help us grow. So it's a mutual love.
Yeah. And you couldn't do anything. Like, you were born to do this. Like, I feel like people in your position, like, you couldn't just do the normal 9 to 5. You need something that pushes you. Like, you want that responsibility.
That's true.
Yeah. We're a little crazy. Yeah.
And you were there when I first started, when we were there at 6:30 at night after law school classes.
Which is so funny to think about because I don't know if you remember this, but you would always tell us, you need to work out in the morning.
Oh, right.
And we'd always be like, absolutely not. I'll never be a person that works out in the morning. And now thinking about like that I worked out at 6:30 at night makes me nauseous. Like, I was like, Robert was right. Like, morning workouts only.
Only. And I was saying it selfishly back then. I'm like, so tired. And y'all are like, we're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, what a wild time. Now I can't imagine working out at 6:30, but I finally listened to you. Now it's morning workouts.
Love that.
I always tell you, like, selfishly, I need you to come to Raleigh because your workouts are the best. And I miss that. So kind of just like, how is Results Fitness different than other studios, gyms, workouts out there?
All right, so we actually just had our quarterly staff meeting. And it's crazy to say this, but I just came up with like our mission statement. And we based it off around always doing like small personalized stuff. And so we realized that we are really good at it, where the market normally for a gym is as many people as you can get in, you try to reach them. But I think that's what causes turnover is people get to a certain point and they feel like they don't know anyone or they don't really know what or how to ask what's next. And so when you keep it in a small group, you always have that like personal connection. Even if someone tries to leave, you can ask them like, why? And being small and early enough, we can change. And we want to keep that as even we grow or take on new things to like always stay the connection being like the main reason we do something.
Mm-hmm. And yeah. And how do you like plan to do that?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to keep the same people from day one. And so they have the same mindset. And so I think as we grow, if they are willing to help spread that word, I think that's the easiest way. Because they've seen the ups and downs just as much as I've seen it. I try to hide them from it, but they still see some of it. So I hope they keep that as well.
And when you talk about staff meetings or mission statement, how are you guys structured? Because I fully believe if you want to provide something different, it starts internally. So, how does your structure, go to creating something different and keeping that retention of your team?
I asked everyone at the beginning when they joined kind of what their goals were, and no one really, I think they're happy we're at 3 years, but they were like, well, if we make it to 3 years, we can reevaluate. So at the beginning of this year, I actually asked them to do exactly what you just said and kind of come up with what they were good at. And it's just crazy how you don't really know someone until you ask what they want to get out of something. And so they all had different things that they want to branch off of and continue to do within the business. And so I think now they have a sense of belonging and that I care about what they're good at, not just making them good at what I want them to be good at.
Because you want to have leaders across the board, because it can't just be you, right? To be you from the day to day. And then as you're adding more people to the team, you want that accountability across, or it's not going to work.
I agree. And you have more people than I do. So you know that personalities are a big thing and managing personalities.
It is a journey. There's some peaks and valleys. That's when people are always like, what's the hardest part of your job? I think they're going to say something with finance or numbers and I'm like, people. People is the hardest because there's always something.
That's so true.
And we do care too, right? We do care, but also our number one job is what's best for the company, what's best for the team as a whole. And then we're both in the service industry, right? What's best for our clients and patients, many moving parts that center around people.
Yes. Those are all facts.
Yeah. It's that's what gives me wrinkles.
Yeah. It's the people I work with, not the business.
Right. It's and we truly do. We want to make our companies the best they can. And so there's going to be that intensity behind it as well.
Right. Couldn't agree more.
So, how are your meetings structured? You have staff meetings, do you have one-on-ones to be able to get these ideas, together and then to create something? Yeah.
We'll normally meet all together 4 times a year. So quarterly. And we've now gotten to the point where we form little teams. And so they'll meet and then report back to me. There's 6 of us or 5 of us now, which is great. And so no one feels like I'm not approachable, which is great. So yeah, I appreciate it. So even if I'm not scheduling a meeting with someone, they'll ask to talk and we can always make it happen, which is great. So they don't have to feel like they have to wait quarterly to talk about something that they can probably change right away. So that's always good.
Oh, and that's the thing. Because it's yes, we have these structured meetings, but yeah, we're not going to wait until 2 months later. It's why couldn't we have talked about this and then have, a solution to it?
I agree.
So what made you want to start your own business?
That's a good question, because I have days where I'm like, it might not have been the best idea. I think, honestly, because all of the jobs I've ever had, I've worked directly with the owner of the company. And I never necessarily thought that their quality of life was better than mine, but the people they got to meet, the opportunities they got to be a part of is even as small as having a gym, or probably even when you had one location, so many more people respected you started something.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not realize that would be the case until after I opened up. I thought it was just a good opportunity to do something I loved on my own, but now I've gotten to be a part of 2 boards. I get invited to a lot of events, like networking events where people want to see me grow. And so I think it's helped me professionally and personally open my own business. I mean, and that's just all on my end. I have a great staff that now loves a vision that I had on a piece of paper. So it's been fun to like have them like intermingle, I guess, in my world and meet the people that helped me kind of start this thing. So it's been fun, like professionally and personally owning my own business.
Completely. And like you've done so, like you talked about like the boards you're on, like you give so much back to Columbia, which I feel like not every business owner can. So you could tell like you really care about where you are and want to be able to use your business for that.
And I feel like that it's a good way to network and meet people, but my clients feel good about what we do when they know that it's not just for me or the people here, that we are trying to make a difference outside of so that we may never see like a quote unquote return on, but it's great to feel like you're making a difference in the community.
For sure. And I think it goes back to like your why. And like you said, like, yeah, I never thought I would own a business too, but here we are and we love it and it's a journey. But going back to your why, because there's hard days, there's hard weeks, right? So it's like going back to your why, it's like, okay, like why are we here? Is what I feel like keeps me going too. It's like there's a greater purpose than just that day to day.
Agreed.
Yeah. And kind of like what you're saying too, like you want to see your team win too. And it's like, cause like we have a team of like almost 45 now. And we started with like a team of 4 of us. And the 4 of us are like, we're still here. People have come and gone, but, and we were talking about it this weekend, like we were moving into this new carry space, like the journey that we've been on. And it's cool that you can do it with people that get it. Cause now we'll remind people who like have no idea. We're like, no guys, like
it wasn't always like this.
No, like be so appreciative of this, like this exactly. And it's like, it's nice that you have that team that's been with you for 3 years and they will look back and they get it. And then they could bring that on to like the next part of people. But
it's funny because I had someone say that this morning because I taught a class and I did not turn on like a fan or anything. And they were like, this is day one, Robert, trying to save money, not turning on the AC. And I was like, no, it's just a part of the brand.
Yeah, it's like 1, you want to sweat. Like we don't need to turn fans on. But 2, exactly. I'm like, do you guys not know how much it costs to run a good business? Like,
I'm like, if this saves me $15, then let's do it.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah. What have been some of the challenges, over these past 3 years?
I guess I always knew the training part of it. But then when it comes down to paying other people or paying bills, I mean, I've done it personally, but it's like, I mean, it's just way more real of like, okay, I have 4 other people who have to get paid before I get paid so that they can live their life while also having to pay for this building.
Yep.
You don't realize everyone thinks owning the business, you come first. But I mean, you come very last. And so there's like some nights where I'm like, God, I do not want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But it's like, you have to right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. At the end, in my case, I did do this by myself. So I don't really have anyone I can like blame or bounce an idea off of. It's like, you decide to do it. You have to take on the load, which is great.
It is. But like the cliche saying, like, it's lonely at the top. Like, it is. And then it's like, we did choose this, right? So 100% we chose this, but it can be very isolating. And to try to like be able to build some of that team out, to have
But we could bounce ideas off each other. We can do that. But it's an interesting ride. And it's funny because people will say, like you said, we go at the bottom, which you should. I fully believe in servant leadership. But like when people are like, oh, you're so lucky you don't have a boss. I'm like, every employee is my boss. Like
every client that walks through this door.
I'm like, no, you guys are all my bosses. You may not realize that, but yes.
I have a manager that keeps me straight, and everyone's always like, oh my God, Robert, this was a good idea. And I'm like, I can't even take credit for it. She runs like our social media and all that stuff. And so.
But you need that. You got to have a team or we're going to lose our minds.
Already there.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. I think of you like as a leader, just who you are as a person and, having your business now and how you guys operate. But, how do you approach like building a strong team and how do you view leadership?
Empowering other people. I've gotten to leave now for like 4 days and not worry about if the gym's going to burn down, which shows me that even on a day-to-day, they may not have to say like, thank you or whatever. But I do know when I'm gone, the level of trust is so high that they know the standard. And so they uphold it while I'm gone. And I think that's leadership more than anything else, that you get a group of people to buy into something that, they necessarily could walk away from at any moment if they want it.
Completely. They always say, like, if you can't leave or your business can't run, then you are not leading the right way.
Yeah. You don't really have a business. You have a you.
And I think too, like, I'll always remember like Kristen, who is our director of practice operations. She started as a patient coordinator back in 2019. And as she like grew in her role, like she was the person that I was like, cool, I could leave and it's not going to burn down. And it is the best feeling and that you want to, because before that.
Is she still there?
She's still here. It'll be 5 years in August.
Lucky.
You'll get some. It takes time. But it is like the day that you can leave, you're like, oh, wow, I'm not so worried. Then it's a good feeling. And I think 100% leadership. Like you said, people can leave anytime and to be able to have that trust, that mutual trust. Yeah. So we kind of talked about it before, like, you focus on personal training is like the missions, like what centers around the mission statement. But how do you create your workouts?
So around the whole small group thing, that's a part of what we keep like in mind in every meeting is everyone has to follow guidelines, but within the guidelines, you have freedom about what to do. And so our largest class will have 18 people in it. And so where everyone has gotten comfortable with like, quote unquote, their group of people or the people that come at those times is now within the guidelines, they feel comfortable asking, like, are you sore? Are you like, how was yesterday? And they can tailor the workout based on that.
Just like on the spot, they can tailor the workout.
Some better than others. I have some people who love a plan. And so they'll follow their plan, which is great. No, but I have some that are like, all right, instead of this, we're going to switch this up. And maybe today we stretch a little bit more. And I think if you tell people that, that'll scare some people like, oh no, I did not come to stretch. But then they realize at the end, oh yeah, I do kind of need it. Yeah. So it's more about us taking control of our clients' workouts and like truly owning it and being like the professional.
How do you personally, because anytime I go to Columbia, I come to your workout and I'm always so sore after in the best way. And I work out all the time. So like, how do you do your workouts?
I think I just go for the hardest workout. And then you just have to tailor it back as you see people fall off. But then the people who can survive, like you, like you're not going to stop whether I tell you to run through a brick wall. You're going to at least try it.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
So I feel like I owe you that.
Yeah. And that's why we're there too. We want that push.
Even on a day where you feel like you might not need it. And people will dial it back. Like, they're not going to actually run through the brick wall. They might try it. But so I think you go for the hardest thing. And then as people need to tailor it off, they will.
And this is what you do. Like, so it's probably just it's like natural to you that you don't even realize that you can put on like such an incredible, program.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Also, we have to mention your playlists. Like, your playlists have always been incredible from day one.
I think that's a big part of working out, though. I think if the music stinks, then you're not going to be into it nearly as much. So I think that's the most fun part about our job. It's like keeping up with music and knowing how to cycle through it.
Oh, yeah. So that, years ago, I got logged out of my Spotify account. I don't know what happened. And I was so sad because I followed your playlist. And I was like, wow, now I don't have that anymore. It's yeah. I
also think people think that's what we do all day, though. It's just play music really loud and come up with playlists.
Oh, no. But it's you're also talented with the playlist. Do you make the playlist? Yeah. Do you make playlists for everyone, or do you the other coaches make their playlists too?
No, they make their own playlists. Yeah. Which I think is fun because it's very interesting to see what people like to work out to. So we have some Swifties that work here. I know. I couldn't do it.
No, me neither. Yeah. Yeah. But people want that. So that's why it's when you find your trainer, it's the best connection,
Yep. But they think people want it. I think they just force people to listen to it.
Exactly. But hey, if they keep coming back, then that's fine.
They like something.
That is so funny. I talk about running through a brick wall. So our mutual friend, Chris, one day, you said something to him good try today or something. I don't even know. And he texted me and I was like, that's incredible. But that's what makes us want to come. We're and then it was a few weeks later that we were coming to your class and I was like, well, hopefully I'll make it. But it was forget exactly what he said that you said to him. And I was dying laughing. But that's what we want when we come. We want to be pushed.
Right. I love it.
Me selfishly, one, I love working out, but also I don't want to think about my workout. I want to be told what to do, not have to think about anything else and know that is going to be effective and not just looking at weights for 45 minutes.
I couldn't agree more. That's why it kind of blows my mind, the model of having something up on a screen. I think it takes away the whole effect of me pushing you and knowing that you like to be pushed. And so that's why I don't like the cram 30 people in.
And I think too, yeah. And we look at screens all day. We don't need to look at any more screens. And I think too, it'd be interesting. I feel a lot of us miss playing sports. So being able to have some part of that conditioning and that training aspect, I think it's nice as well.
That's true. I agree with that.
We probably talk about this all day, but talk about the importance of fitness. Obviously, yes, you want to get stronger, but what do you see every day with your clients?
All right. I love that you asked me that question because I thought about it. And what we really are enforcers of good behavior. Because if you ask a room of 100 people, 90 of them are going to be like, oh, I know what to do. They just might not, or they just need an extra push. If I told you need to drink water, you're like, Robert, I already know that. But everyone wants us to have this is the quick way to do it. But everyone knows you have to eat, you have to drink water. And so I think we're more like enforcers.
Yeah, I like that.
And like you said, like a lot of people they think about other stuff all day. And so the last thing they want to do is try to push themselves to work out. And so again, we have to make them do something that they don't really want to do, but just don't want to think about doing.
Exactly.
So I think that's really our job, like to make you understand the benefits and have you enjoy it. And then I think the rest is kind of on you.
Yes. I think if everyone took more self-accountability and responsibility in the world, it would be a much better place.
Look at that.
Yeah. It's crazy because it's always someone else's fault.
It is, especially in our world.
Yes. Oh, I can't even imagine. It's like your fault. They gained 10 pounds. Like, well, what are you eating? Yeah. What are you putting in your mouth?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I always joke. I'm like, if I could make a rule that you have to work out before work, I would. Like, because like you said, like the discipline of going to work, the endorphins, the serotonin, like, and movement can look different for everyone, right? But if everyone was just moving their body every morning, I think it'd be a better place.
And this time of year, it's easy to get talked into something after work.
Yes, because it's so nice out.
Why would I go work out?
But then you like don't feel good the next day. And it's like, yeah, working out, it's so important. Like I can't imagine if I didn't work out. Like it would not be good.
This is so crazy. You've been like this from day one. Even though it was 6:30 at night, it was.
Yeah, now it's 6:30 in the morning. Yeah.
You had to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I grew up playing sports. I just feel bad. I don't know.
That's got to be it. The competitive part of it.
Yeah. But no, you just feel so much better. And then too, like when you do hard things, then your body gets used to it. So then like if I have a problem at work, I'm like, all right, like, you could just like manage things better, I think.
No, I agree with that.
What are your future plans? And I'm not going to say like 5-year plan, 3 years. I hate when people say that because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Really don't.
Well, yeah. And like, that's the beauty, I think, of life. But like, you know, your vision for results.
I actually had a conversation with someone last week and they liked our model so much, kind of like the small group classes and personal training.
Yeah.
That they were like, Robert, have you ever thought of just going like full on boutique and having like wellness, like sauna and all the stuff where you can get people in like one space, work out, and you kind of really manage all of their health and wellness? And I was like, no, I've never really thought of that. But it does fit our model.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what we're going to look into more and kind of have like a class setting, but then also have this like high-end boutique personal training wellness setting.
I love that.
Yeah, with like smoothies and hopefully like a little lounge so people can hang out and you're not always so rushed. Right, and have like coffee and but then also have like the weights part, which we're good at.
Yep. It's great at. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll keep that same model and just try to keep them into one location more. So we can really manage. They kind of really look at us like fitness professionals.
And they trust you already. So like the things you're going to add, they're going to not just be like, oh, why are they adding that? Like they trust you. So they know there's a reason.
And that's what we're hoping, that they'll ask us more of the, why do I need to, like, I know I need to use this, Robert. And so I want to do it, but you don't offer it. And so we're hoping to just be the one stop, you know? And so we're hoping to bring on like maybe another business to help offset like our weight training, like maybe have like a yoga, you know, so really complement each other.
Yeah, I love that.
Really the future, I hope, is to merge more, like have more collaboration in fitness. I feel like it's everyone has their thing that they're good at. But if you talk to all of us, we know that we need to sell our clients on yoga and stuff like that. But I know I'm not good at it. I don't want to cheapen my brand, but I'd much rather bring someone in that's really good at it already. So I hope that's my future.
I love that. Well, I always joke. Yeah, like athletes, they have a team around them. Like Russell Wilson spends $1 million on his wellness, right? So I'm like, how could we make our mini teams? And that's always my goal. It's like, what can we add to make our mini team? Because most of us can't do the Russell Wilson plan, but I want to do a part of it. I want to do as much as I can, you know?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like we see it every day, but for like health, health dictates the rest of your life, right? Like if you don't feel well, everything else is going to be affected as well.
It's so true. I actually saw a study the other day that compared lower body strength as you get older. It directly correlates with like your social life. And that's what made me click on. I was like, how is that possible? And it was saying the older you get, the more you lose like balance and strength. And so you fear going out because you might fall. And so it was just saying the importance of weight training and how it'll boost your mood. It'll obviously get you stronger and you'll be social longer, which will also help you live longer.
Yeah, like one of the top reasons why people die is because we break a bone. And it's not from the actual bone, but then our immune system's compromised. We don't socialize, as a whole compounding effect, because every year we lose muscle and bone, especially women. That's why women need to strength train to overcompensate from that. And what people don't realize is muscle keeps you alive. Like your heart's a muscle, like your immune system. Like it's so, so important to have muscle.
Yeah. And y'all have a big part of that, the hormones and all that. Like, that's what I'm trying to learn more about, especially as I age. So obviously my clients are getting older as well. And I know it's so important. And they always end the conversation with, Robert, you've never had a kid, so you don't know. And I'm like, all right, it's over. I get it. I get what you're trying to say.
But no, like we could talk about this offline, but yeah, like hormones are the foundation of your health. And that's why like everyone needs more testosterone in their life. Like women need more testosterone than estrogen. And, we lose it as we age, but like our generation, our testosterone's so low. And so like, especially testosterone builds muscle. It's like you need it. It builds bones, fatigue, brain fog. But no, I'm with you. Like you need hormones.
There you go.
So Robert has not had kids physically, but he can talk about hormones and everyone needs hormones. Yes. I'm
learning more about it.
Especially when women are like, I need to like lose my 5-10 pounds. Like we always say we are not weight loss. We are not weight loss. However, muscle helps you burn fat, right?
There you go.
Exactly. So you're right. So tell them about the hormones. So obviously, as you know, I want you to come to Raleigh. Like I would move to Columbia just to like work out.
Well, you sold me on moving to Raleigh to just hang out.
Cool. Yeah. Yes. Awesome. I'll get your space so you could work out up here and it'd be great.
There we go.
All right. Well, I like to do some quick takes at the end to wrap us up. So coffee or tea?
Coffee. I don't even think it does anything anymore. I just have it in the morning because it's a part of my routine.
Yeah. I know. I used to drink so much. I've really backed down.
Like from what to what?
Oh gosh. Like in law school, like my prime, I was probably drinking like the venti iced coffees, like probably 2-3 a day.
A day?
Like caffeine like didn't affect me. And then we had coffee at school. So we just kind of like drank it throughout the day. But now I drink like 1 to 2 max.
A day?
Mm-hmm. No, not venti. Sorry. Now I just do grande. Or I make an espresso. And then.
Saving money?
Yeah, I don't go to Starbucks anymore. I get black iced coffee. It used to be $2.89. Now it's $4.28. That is insane.
For black iced coffee?
Yes. So I do the Nespresso route. I just love iced coffee, so it's unfortunate. But wait, I digress. But yeah, I'm like, I can't do that. Like, no.
Keeping Starbucks in business.
Exactly. Yeah, no. Walking or running?
Running. I feel like you could do it quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that as a 33-year-old. Ask me again when I'm 50.
You're 30. No, you'll be on testosterone and you will be running as much as you. Yes, you'll be good.
50 is the new 40.
It is. I'm telling you. Just come to Optimal Bio. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Favorite podcast?
I listen to this podcast called The Pivot, and it's 3 ex-football players who interview other people within sports and entertainment now.
Oh, I love that.
And I love it because they'll have like a conversation like we are, but their quick take at the end is, what was your pivot? Like, what can you attribute to how you are now? At what point in your life did you make that pivot? And so I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
You'd be surprised how many athletes have like a great story or, yeah.
All my analogies, all my examples at work, everything has to do with sports, because I think if businesses were ran like sports teams, everything would be great. Everyone has the same mission, the discipline, working hard.
I agree.
Yes. Oh no, yes. And so I love anything to do with in the athletes, their stories and the work, and especially like when they pivot, because sports was all their life.
I mean, there's some of them that get emotional about it because it might have happened when they were like 13. Some of them it happened after they retire. It's so cool. It's the coolest part of the podcast. Yeah.
I'm going to start listening to that podcast. Oh no, I always joke, like if I could pick my job in life besides this, it'd be like something in college football. It's just, there's just nothing like it.
Someone asked me that this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, if I weren't doing what I'm doing, what would I do? And I was like, something in college football.
Same. Like, I've always said, like, I would start with, even now, bringing Kirk Herbstreit coffee on game day. Like, just let me be there and just, like, soak it up. Like, Kirk, I'll bring your coffee. I'll bring all of them their coffee. Like,
so I never thought about that as a job, but someone does it.
Someone does it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I will start there. Like, I will start there.
Yeah.
I'll walk his dog. Like, just let me know. But it's just something special about sports and especially college football.
Yeah.
And I hope that all the NIL and whatever doesn't ruin it, but it's just great.
No, it won't.
I need to send you a podcast that similar to The Pivot, but it was like a retired football, kind of sharing his story. The podcast is called Game Changers, but it was just his episode, and it's just so good.
Who was it? Kirk Herbstreit?
I forget his name, but it was a great story. Now I need to think about my pivot.
I know. That's what I was like. Maybe I don't have a pivot now because I'm in it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'll look back and be like, God, I remember opening my business and then bam.
But I think our pivots to start is just even being in our business, right? Like, because it's not like you wake up like you're born and you're like, I'm going to be a CEO. Like, people probably do that, but that's kind of gross, you know? But it's just like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
The podcast is Game Changers with Molly Fletcher.
Okay.
But I'll send you that one. Marcus Freeman was on it the other day, like Notre Dame's coach. That was a good one. But yeah, great. So The Pivot, I'm going to add that to my podcast.
Yep. I'll send you a good one too.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you. This was great.
Yeah. Thank you.
This has been a production of Optimal Bio. Optimal Bio is CEO Tyler Brannon, Medical Director Greg Brannon, podcast host Tyler Brannon, production assistance by Core Media, Beth Gravencourt, Administrator, Kevin Duthu, Executive Producer. The podcast can be found on our website, optimalbio.com, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Our theme song is Sunwave by Paradiso, provided by Epidemic Sound.